Let's say that you have a 70% rating for PTSD, and since you can't work, you're in receipt of TDIU, total disability based on individual unemployability. Basically, you have a 70% rating for PTSD and you can't work. So the VA is paying you the difference. You're getting paid at the 70% rate, but they're paying you at the 100% rate. TDIU. It's also called VA unemployability. Can I work as an Uber driver and get paid TDIU benefits at the same time? Let's go to the income restrictions here, because basically the VA is paying you, they're conceding, and you fought this claim and you won it, right? So they're conceding that you deserve to be paid at the 100% rate, even though you have a 70% rating. They're paying you because you can't work. So just kind of going into any job that you want to take, kind of keep that in the back of your mind. So basically what the VA is doing is they're like, there's income restrictions. You can make the poverty level of income because we don't consider the poverty level to be a real job, maybe not even a part-time job. Once you go over the poverty level, oh, you could work. You have to do this carefully. The poverty level for 2023 is $13,590. That's the mark. That changes along with the cost of living increase. So make sure if you're on TDIU, make sure you know what next year's poverty limit is, because you no longer have to send in stuff to the VA. They just go check your Social Security records. So when they go see, that you're working somewhere and you're not at $13,590, you're over that, expect a reduction letter. Straight up. I talked to a VA rater friend of mine about this. Can I be an Uber driver and get TDIU at the same time? And he said, yes, if you work under the poverty limit. And I was like, yeah, but it's a protected work environment. And he literally laughed at me, and I get why. So here's why. The VA does not consider being an Uber driver a protected work environment. I mean, think about it. I have a 70% rating for PTSD, right? So deficiencies in most areas of my work and social life. I basically am down here talking to you guys. Actually, I'm talking to a camera, but people aren't around me. I don't get on the road. I have road rage. I can't control myself. I'm not at the 100% level. I haven't been involuntarily, locked up either way, cycled or gone to jail. But I know how I am, so I just don't go outside and I go to, shopping at Walmart. Actually, they're delivering stuff now, so even better. Less driving for Combat Craig. So just road rage is usually a part of it. You might want to go check what your previous statements on how you won your PTSD claim and then how you won your TDIU claim. If road rage was in there, yeah, being an Uber driver, you might want to go check your previous statements, because if you were talking about road rage, like, do you have road rage? Like, for sure. If you do, you have it, right? If that's something you said, and that's usually one of the questions they ask you, being an Uber driver, not the greatest idea. It's contradictory. You're contradicting yourself. 2 years ago, when you got your 70% rating, you had all sorts of crazy road rage. Then a year ago, when you won your TDIU claim and started getting paid at the 100% rate, the road rage was 2 times worse. Now you're an Uber driver? You're kind of looking like a clown, right? If you don't know about Uber drivers, let me tell you all about them. Basically, all you need to know is when I'm too hammered, back in the day, don't do it here anymore, it was a different state. They don't have Uber drivers here or in Montana. But my previous state, good old Southern California, they're all over the place. So when I was all hammered, I'd call up an Uber driver. I was blackout drunk. I have no clue what I was doing. But I guarantee you I was up to no good. That's the environment you're putting yourself in, right? Like literally, you name a crime and it's associated with an Uber driver. Assault, sexual assault and battery, murder, stabbings. The list goes on. Like literally, you're going in because that's the time you make money. They have the rush zone or whatever they call it, surge or whatever it's called. So you're sitting there trying to get those 1 o'clock in the morning to 3 o'clock in the morning rides. Like those people are fucked up. They're hammered. I was one of them. So I have firsthand knowledge here. And you probably do too. So you're putting yourself in a position to go deal with drunk, drugged out people, wasted. Can't even see straight, won't even remember anything that happened. They're literally in the back seat of your car. Like, making out or they're fucking or they're jerking off looking at you and trying to get you to notice. Like that's the backseat of an Uber car. Straight up. That's the way it is. So the VA knows this. This is not a protected work environment. I mean, you could talk yourself into whatever you want to. I'm telling you, being Uber, Lyft, whatever, and you have road rage and you're literally going in to drive jerking off around, it's not a protected work environment. So they know this about Uber, right? They know what goes on in Uber. Like it's not even like hard for a VA rater. Like I said, I was talking to my friend that's a VA rater. He was laughing because it's so common knowledge, and I already know that as well. I just wanted to see if there's anything else that he could opine on before I made this video. Like, no, just Google it. You can see every crime in the book has happened, associated with an Uber driver, in an Uber, next to an Uber, crashed into an Uber, that kind of stuff. So if you want to be an Uber driver, I think that's risky in itself, especially if you claim you have road rage. But if you want to proceed with that, and that seems like the best way to go, don't make over $13,590. It's not a loophole. We have the tendency as human beings to talk ourselves into anything we actually want to do. Crimes, drugs, you name it. Name a vice, and I'll talk about how I talk myself into it. So in this particular situation, you're looking for a loophole. Uber driver or Lyft, that is not your loophole. Try something else. Now, an actual protected work environment is something that you control. So let's say it's not Uber. You should just scratch Uber off the list. Combat Craig's neighborhood lawn service. All right. Still driving. I wouldn't do that, but I don't need to because I'm not on TDIU. But let's just go with it. So Combat Craig's lawn service. So, okay, what's this look like, right? Because the VA is just going to get your Social Security records, and then they're just going to reduce you anyway when you make over the poverty limit. So you need an explanation to fight back with. Make sure you fight this, or they're just going to reduce you back down to 70%. So in my hypothetical, Combat Craig's neighborhood lawn service, yeah, I own it on paper and I collect all the money and I have the shiny, happy face. Yes, I'm the guy. I don't do any of the work. I got guys doing the work, right? I got a crew of people going out there, snipping and blow and go and mowing and all that kind of stuff. And then I have somebody else doing my books. Like I literally do nothing. So when I have chronic fatigue syndrome and it lays me up for 2 weeks straight, in addition to depression, the business runs just fine without me. And I could prove it because I have accounting records. I actually have somebody doing the books and somebody doing the work. I'm just the pretty face. So I have an argument, when you're in your own business and you own your own business, it's a protected work environment. I get it. In the eyes of the IRS, they see you, the Uber driver, as your own business. In the eyes of the VA, they don't see it the same way. They're going to look closer. They're not even going to look. They're going to be like, this guy's an Uber driver and made 32 grand. It's not protected. Look at what he's subjecting himself to. Be prepared for them to come. So basically, the way to think about it is your business will run if you don't do any of the work. You got other people doing it. The other option is you are doing this as you start up an LLC and now it's Combat Craig's lawn service and I do all the work. How am I going to prove that, I have a protected work environment? Well, what do most lawn care services do? Like 40 yards a day? I do 10 yards a week on the first week. Then I'm down for 2 weeks. Chronic fatigue syndrome, depression, anxiety. I just no work, right? And then on, 3 weeks later, I do 5 more lawns, right? And this is all like in QuickBooks or whatever, and you could explain this. Both ways work, but if you own your own business, you're in a protected work environment. Couple different ways to protect yourself, but if you're going to go kill it, go kill it. Don't worry about TDIU. It's $3 grand a month, right? If you want to run a couple more protected work environment scenarios by me, check out my boot camp, join me on a live session, ask me questions. Better than a YouTube comment. Make sure you check out the sponsor of today's video, Hill and Ponton. And if you are in Camp Lejeune between 53 and 87, definitely check out Hill and Ponton. Links in the description. And TDIU claims come down to a vocational expert. There's an email address down there. VA claims come down to medical evidence. If you need medical evidence, diagnosis, symptoms, nexus, there's an email in the description for you as well. That's my 2 cents on TDIU. YouTube thinks you should check out this video right here. So go check it out. You might learn something from it.